Alright, so it's almost midnight, Tuesday the 26th, and I just got done with the last rehearsal. I hope you guys can hear me okay over the fan. I've got this giant like plastic floor fan going. I'm in my dorm room at the seminary, and unbelievably I have a whole room to myself, which is awesome. I was so worried that I was going to have a roommate. You know, I've had a lot of good roommates, but I still just can't really stand it. I like to be alone a lot of the time. So, I don't even know where to start today. I hit up the bookstore. Start with the good stuff. I hit up the bookstore. St. Vlad's is one of the major publishers of Orthodox literature in the world. So, I'm very proud of myself for limiting my purchases to about 40 bucks. I got the Hymns of Paradise by St. Isaac the Syrian, and I got the Freedom of Morality, which I'm particularly excited about. The back matter says, this major Orthodox contribution to the study of quote-unquote ethics takes as its point of departure the concept of person, not only as presented in the theology of the Greek fathers, but also as experienced in the worship, ascetical life, and art of the Orthodox Church. In this perspective, morality is the dynamic response of personal freedom as related to authentic human being. The author states that what we call the morality of man is the way he relates to this adventure of his freedom. Morality reveals what man is in principle, as the image of God, but also what he becomes through the adventure of his freedom, a being transformed or in the likeness of God. I cannot wait to start reading this. So excited. And I also got some icon prints. They have a giant kind of display rack of all of these. So I picked up a couple. They were about, I think I paid like 50 cents or $1. But anyway, some of them are old, but it doesn't matter. So this is Saint Innocent of Irkutsk. Sorry. And they're just cardstock, but I just can never have too many icons. The Three Hierarchs, that's Basil the Great, Saint John Chrysostom, and hold on. Gregory Palamas, I think. I can't even think right now. Why am I stupid? I'm stupid. I can't think of who they are. St. Basil the Great, St. John Chrysostom, and Google it. Sorry. I'm too tired to start this all over again. Okay, this is Saints Herman and Innocent, the Reverend, or by the hand of Reverend Theodore Jurowitz, who I believe is a old believer in Erie, PA. But you can see Saint Innocent and Saint Herman, and then of course there's the Mother of God at the top holding the infant Jesus. Okay, Saint Maximus the Confessor. And these are all in the same kind of like slightly flimsy cardstock. This is Saint Herman of Alaska and Saint Seraphim of Sarov. So I'm kind of excited about those. I don't know quite what I'm going to be doing with them yet because they're not thick enough to hang on the wall unless I mat them and frame them. So maybe I'll just hang on to them and save up some money and do that. Anyway, so that was one of the good parts of the day. The rehearsals are great. They're great. The maestro speaks almost no English. So today again in the morning we had him running a rehearsal with a translator. And then him coaching conductors through a translator, which is incredibly difficult. I can't even imagine that. But tonight we had another rehearsal and the translator wasn't available for some reason, so we had another translator. It was a man this time. And I found him a little bit harder to understand, maybe just because the voice was lower, I don't know. But the rehearsals themselves are going okay. But, you know, unfortunately, I think I already said this. When I was getting all the emails in preparation from this, I was really scared that the maestro was going to be a despot. Okay. I think a lot of that comes from being from Moscow, being from the Moscow Conservatory, and not speaking English almost at all. So, for example, when we were told that we had to submit questions in writing, it wasn't because he was on a power trip, it's because he needs to have time to translate them and think about them. And I think, you know, whenever you have two people that are working together, and they're from different hemispheres, and they speak different languages, there's a really big chance that eventually one of them is going to be rude to the other one without knowing it. Okay? And unfortunately, during the, I think it was the afternoon, yeah, it was the afternoon rehearsal, he singled out a friend of mine. Not meaning to be a jerk, but he was making a point about, you know, singing as an ensemble and nobody sticking out. And so he kind of called her out in front of everybody. Now, I think he did that because, number one, she's a highly trained singer with a glorious straight-tone early music voice. So I think he was thinking she could deal with that kind of criticism. You know, but a lot of people are having kind of a bad time right now, a stressful time of year. So he didn't understand that he had gone too far. And he was trying to explain, you know, why you want to have ensemble, and I think we all agree on that. But then he said something like, usually the people who stick out like that do that because they think that the choir can't possibly function without them. They think that the choir revolves around them and that everyone else will fall apart if you don't sing. Now, it was my perception that by the time he got to that point, he was no longer talking about one person or one section. He was making a comment about choral singers in general, and I think it's true a lot of the time. But she was really hurt by that, and I was a little afraid that she was actually going to leave. But thankfully tonight she says she feels better. A bunch of us after rehearsal, we just kind of chatted about it for a bit, and I said, you know what? This he's a genius, but he's cranky, he's Russian, he needs to go, you know, wrestle a bear or something and get out all of his pissiness, sorry, language, and then hopefully not offend anyone. She's a pretty easygoing person, so she's probably over it by now, and I know he didn't mean it that way. I don't even know if he knows that he really hurt her feelings, but you know, Russian people can be very direct and very blunt, and that's just because that's in their culture, you know, and they don't often smile when they talk to you because they think that that's disingenuous. They think that it's presenting a false front. So he's saying something, and people's feelings can get hurt. Anyway, so that sucked. But after that, he calmed down. And then tonight, I'm so frustrated by this. You know, I was really looking forward not only to seeing quite a few of my friends from college, you know, who are either also were Orthodox in college or have since converted like I have, you know, had a later conversion. It's been really fun to sing with them again, and you know, they're just fantastic musicians and fantastic people. But I was also looking forward a little bit to meeting some other Orthodox Christians, right? Just because it's good to have that kind of a network of people who have a similar belief. And I've been having this problem for a while now. Not just here. I mean, when I go into the prison, and I feel that a lot of men, maybe not a lot, but yeah, it's a lot. A lot of men, they strike up a conversation with me. And that's cool, you know, I like talking about the rehearsal, I like talking about what's going on, you know, bitching about the humidity, whatever. But I find that if we really get into a conversation about it, and I'm showing interest, you know, in what they're saying, and I'm asking questions, they think that we're flirting. And we're not. But I don't know how to handle that, because like there was this guy tonight who is probably my age, maybe a little bit younger actually, but you know, he waited for me outside the door, and he said that, you know, he heard my voice and he thought my voice was very nice. What did I think of the maestro? What did I think of the sound? So we were chatting, and he was you know, he was lamenting that we didn't have a lot of time to meet other people for the same reasons, because these rehearsals are going really late. And he was like, yeah, I just wish I could just sit with somebody and talk for a while. And that was an invitation to, you know, hang out a little bit. And I was like, well, you know what? You mentioned earlier you were going for a run. Have a nice run. I'll see you tomorrow. Because I didn't want to get into this position where I have to be like, I'm married. And I don't know what I'm doing that's making this happen all the time. Because I'm not a flirty person. Okay? I don't know. It would probably help if I wore my wedding ring. But as I think I've said before, my wedding rings are a size 10.5. Because I weighed 140 more pounds when I got married than I do now. So they're just, I mean, they're like bracelets on me now. So I didn't even bring them here, because I would absolutely never forgive myself if my jerry-rigged, like, duct tape padding that I'd wrapped around the shank were to come undone or something, and I would lose my rings. I feel terrible about that. So I don't know how to be friends with a straight man, or to have a friendly conversation with a straight man, without them getting mad at me eventually because, why didn't you tell me you were married? Blah, 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 blah. Are you oblivious? You knew that I wanted to ask you about blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't. I live under a rock, and I like my rock. So I feel badly about it. I mean, this one tonight didn't yell at me, but I could tell he was disappointed. And I feel bad. I want to be his friend. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm ranting. I'm probably retired. Let's see. What's going on tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think it's same old, same old. We're just going to be rehearsing like crazy people. And we have a concert Thursday night, I believe. And then Friday morning is a liturgy for Saints Peter and Paul. And then we leave. So I'm going to do a little bit of organizing here, a little bit of maybe scripture reading, something like that, and then hit the hay. I'll tell you something, I have been sleeping well here. Oh, Lordy. Alright, well, have a good night. God be with you, and thanks for watching.